Hey guys, glad you stopped by. So today, I always love when you guys stop by, really. It absolutely just thrills me to no end. I love the company when I cook and when I bake. But today, we're gonna do, the recipe was called a Rocky Mountain pot roast. But after reading the recipe, to me, it's just a basic, classic, all-American pot roast. And we're gonna do it in slow cooker. There were Instapot directions also for this recipe, but I have a lot going on today, and I really have had a hankering for pot roast. Normally we do a Mississippi pot roast, which if you haven't tried that yet, you can check out our video. I'll put a link down in the description for it. That's an amazing pot roast. It's hands down our family favorite, but my mom used to make a classic pot roast all the time with the meat, the potatoes, the carrots, lots of seasoning, and I thought, man, that sounds really good. Let's try it. So that's what we're gonna do today. It's just a good old pot roast, with the carrots and the potatoes. And I think it's something that we're really gonna like. Now, like I said, we are doing this in a slow cooker, so it's going to take time. This does take about 8 hours. We do have to do something at the 4-hour mark, which is add our vegetables. But other than that, we're just going to let it go all day. It is an 8-hour process in the slow cooker. So this is, once again, something you can start in the morning before you leave and for work, or do your chores for the day, or whatever it is you have to do. This would be a good Sunday meal also, I think. But I think we're going to enjoy this all the same. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Glad you stopped by. Hope you get something out of this video. Check out some of my other videos. If you're returning or one of our new subscribers, welcome back and thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Comments, always welcomed. I respond to every single one. If you take the time to comment, I take the time to respond. All I ask is you be nice. Think before you type. That's all I ask. It's okay to disagree. Just think before you type. That being said, why don't we head on down here to the counter and we're gonna get started on this delightful pot roast. Hold on for me 1 second. All right, gang, we are down here at the counter, and the only thing we'll really need for this is this crock pot, and we will need a bowl to mix up a base that we're gonna spoon over top of the pot roast. But the first thing we're gonna add to this crock pot is gonna be 2 cups of beef broth. Now I'm using better than bouillon, and if that's what you use, it's just 2 teaspoons of the condensed bouillon and 2 cups of water. But it's 2 cups, 480 milliliters of beef broth. I'm gonna put that in there, and then to that, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons, 30 milliliters of red wine vinegar. Or really, you could probably just use a vinegar of your choice. I do have another vinegar over here. This one here, it's called Twist of Olives, and it's a Serrano honey vinegar that I thought about using in this, and I thought, no, I got some red wine vinegar I want to use up, and that's what the recipe called for. After we put those 2 things in there, we're going to go ahead and take our pot roast. Now, it's a 2.5 pound pot roast. That we're gonna put in there. If it has big chunks of fat on it, like a fat cap or just those chunks of hard fat, that are on your pot roast, go ahead and cut them off, right? You don't necessarily need those in here. All that will do is just add a bunch of grease to your pot roast. But if you pay attention when you buy your pot roast, you can get one that doesn't have just a ton of that hard fat. Now, like with this one here, I don't know if you can see it, yeah. You want that marbling. Yeah, if you can get one with a lot of marbling, that's fantastic. But that's what you want as far as your pot roast goes. Like I said, 2.5 pound pot roast. And then we are going to mix up a, not necessarily a sauce, but kind of a sauce that's going to go on top of that. And we're going to start with, you'll have to excuse me, I don't remember the measurements for everything. 1/4 cup, 70 grams of just some regular old ketchup. Try not to get it all over the floor there, or all over the counter floor. I'm about special. So we get that in there, and then we are going to add 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce right here, and that's 30 milliliters. And then on my plate here, I have got 1 teaspoon 4 grams of salt, 1 teaspoon 3 grams of pepper, 1 teaspoon 2 grams of dried thyme, 1 teaspoon of onion powder at 2 grams, 1 teaspoon of parsley at 2 grams, and then 1 teaspoon of, they call it for garlic powder, and I don't ever have garlic powder, but I do have granulated garlic. Somehow my granulated garlic disappeared. I have a feeling my youngest, Abby, who you may have met before, took it somewhere to use it in one of her kitchens. So I have some dry roasted garlic that I'm going to use instead. But it's 4 grams either way it goes. And now we go ahead and dump that in. And then we're going to give that a quick mix together. Alright, we got that mixed together. Just like such. So now we're just going to take this and we will bring our crock pot back out this way. A lot of work. And we're just going to spoon this over the top of our meat real quick. And that way it'll soak down through the pot roast as it cooks, which will be awesome. And you'll have to excuse me and my sniffles. I have a cold. I don't know what has been going on lately, but it seems like the last few months if it's come along, I've caught it, and I'm not sure why. And unfortunately, there's just no time to stop in the process. Leave that on there. All right. And I just simply smoothed it down over top of everything. And then the very last ingredient we got to put in, I've got 2 bay leaves. Now, if you got 1 big bay leaf, go ahead and use 1 bay leaf, but I only have small bay leaves, so we're going to put those in there. Now, we're just going to simply put our lid on. We're going to turn this bad boy on low. Maybe if I can get the lid on. We'll turn this bad boy on low and let her cook for 4 hours. And then when I come back, we can add the potatoes and carrots and talk about how much longer to cook this for. Alright, I'll see you here in just 1 second. Okay, our first 4 hours is up. So all I did was, real quick, I had some, this go around russet potatoes. Oddly enough, the grocery store was out of red potatoes. But the original recipe called for red or golden potatoes. They didn't have any red potatoes. I wasn't paying the price for golden potatoes because for whatever reason potatoes got, not expensive, but for potatoes expensive. And so I bought some russets and I went ahead and cut them up. I peeled them, I cut them. I didn't peel them all the way through. They've got some peel marks on them. That's okay. I simply peeled them and cut them up in quarters. And the big ones I cut up bigger, but peeled, cut into quarters. Carrots, I just rough chopped, and the carrots that were like monstrous, I chopped in half long ways. So now we're just gonna go ahead and take our lid off now that our first 4 hours is up. And we're just gonna go ahead and stick the potatoes and carrots in here. And then we're gonna let this cook for another 4 to 5 hours. I'm gonna guess 4. But 5 if you're using for sure if you're using a bigger than 2.5 pound roast, which 2.5 pounds will actually feed quite a few people. So we're gonna go ahead and get that in there, and then we'll get our lid back on, make sure our potatoes, make sure everything's down in the juices. Yeah, I mean, how well you can see that. Let me bring you in here real quick. But there is just a ton of juice and flavor that's developed around in there. So now we've only got to let that cook the potatoes and the carrots, and that, I'm telling you, that's gonna be so much flavor. And then when it's said and done, we will turn all those juices into some gravy to put to go with this. So we'll go ahead and put this back on low, go for another 4 hours, and when I come back, everything should be done, and we can plate it up and try some. All right, I'll see you here in a second. Okay guys, so we've been another 4 hours. I already checked the potatoes and the carrots. They're fork tender, which is perfect for eating. So now what we have to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the lid off. Last thing we have to do is I've got 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, which is 20 grams. And to that, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons, 45 milliliters of warm to hot water. Cold water will work, but cold water and cornstarch, all it does is sink to the bottom. So the hotter it is, the better. And then we're just gonna mix this up real quick with a fork. And then we are gonna pour this in here with the potatoes and the carrots and all that juice. There's so much liquid in here now that it almost covers the pot roast. So we are going to now, still didn't get it quite all, but that's all right. We'll throw it in there. We're just going to let this cook with the lid off for about 10 minutes until that broth thickens up and becomes a nice, almost a gravy. All right, guys. So we went ahead and I got got everything out of the crock pot, obviously. But we can take a look at it all the same. That roast was so tender. I went to go slice it. Look how it just fell apart. Isn't that beautiful? Just gorgeous. And the potatoes, it's just like something my mom would have made with her pot roast. They got that nice golden look from the beef broth, and the carrots got just a nice look to them. And nothing is, they're soft, but they're not mushy by any means. And then we got the gravy right here. All we have left to do is plate it up and try it. So I'll go ahead and grab me a plate, and we can go ahead and get some of this put on our plate to have for dinner. Okay, guys, so here we are. There is our potatoes, carrots, pot roast. I know the whole house smells amazing, and this looks just fantastic. I can't wait to try it. I do have to put some of the, I do want to put some of this gravy on it, the juice at any rate, just to give it that extra flavor. And like I said, cutting it up, it just fell apart, which just tells me it's going to be amazing. But you can't really. Oh, I can't wait to try this. All right, let me get a piece of potato cut here if I can. We'll just try a potato. What do you say? That potato's cooked perfectly. Now, you can salt and pepper to taste, but as I've said before, I don't add anything that the recipe doesn't call for. Not a big salt fan, but you can put the salt and the pepper on the table and they can be added individually. Now we're going to try this roast. Oh. Holy moly. That was so tender, it just fell apart in my mouth. It like to melt in my mouth. And the flavors, ooh, carrots are really good too. I do so love a carrot. And believe it or not, after 4 hours, none of that was mushy. The potatoes were the perfect tender. They weren't mushy, but they weren't so firm that you couldn't eat them. The carrot was perfect. It didn't have it had just the right amount of firmness, at least for my liking. But it wasn't crunchy, but it wasn't mushy, and that's perfect. I don't like a mushy vegetable, not at all. That pot roast is fall apart tender. You can taste the flavor of every spice we put in that flavor, that spice mix that we put on there at the beginning, we spooned on the top, is perfect. I don't think it needs any salt or pepper anymore, at any rate. That's my opinion. Chris might go, oh, probably needs salt, but that's all right. Give this a try. This is a great Sunday meal. Is this a weeknight meal? Maybe not. Now you don't have to necessarily cook the vegetables with it. You could just cook the pot roast and then steam the vegetables when you get home. Or cook them when you get home, for that matter, or done with the day. But if you've got a Sunday where you're just piddling around the house, but you don't really have time to cook a big meal for the family or the company, this is perfect. Quick to go together for right off the rip. 4 hours later, you dump your vegetables in real quick. Wait another 4 hours, add some cornstarch, and you got a meal. Hands down. You could have. We were gonna have this with a salad, but somebody forgot to get salad dressing at the store, so that was out. So we're just gonna have bread with it instead. Just a nice French loaf, you know, to sop up that gravy with. Yeah, that's bread is essential with almost everything, I think. Been that way since I was a kid. But anyhow, give this a try. Let me know if you do. I don't think you'll be dissatisfied at all. I mean, at all. This is a fantastic meal that takes very little effort, and you don't have to do anything with it but let the slow cooker cook. If you do, let me know. Leave me a comment down below. I would love to hear your opinion, or if there's something you add or do differently to your pot roast, let me know. So we have a Mississippi pot roast, which it will probably be up here on the end screen, but I'll also leave a link down in the description that we do. That's absolutely amazing. And that being said, tomorrow for dessert, we are going to do a cheesecake. But this was a cheesecake that was suggested to me on Facebook. And it is a Boston cream pie cheesecake that looks phenomenal. I think it's going to be amazing. You'll have to tune in to see. I guarantee it. It has got every aspect of a cheesecake I like, as in the fact it's a cheesecake. It has, you know, the filling of the Boston cream pie. It's going to be a good one. I guarantee it. I mean, I don't know yet because I haven't tried it, but I think it's going to hit the spot. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for dessert if you've made it this far into this video. But I'm going to go get this on the table so me, Chris, and Abby can do a little eating. And until tomorrow for dessert, I love you. I love you very much. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else that you love them, that you love them very much. They may need to hear it. It may make their whole day. If nothing else, it's going to make them smile. It's going to make you smile and feel good on the inside to tell them that. I guarantee that. And if you make this pot roast and invite them over for dinner, I guarantee that's going to put a smile on their face and lead to hours of conversation. You know, but, you know, and you can't argue that. There's enough there. Actually, you could probably invite a neighbor. At least a neighbor, maybe both neighbors. You never know. Or a friend you haven't talked to in a while. So, till tomorrow for dessert, I love you. And I'll see you then. Alright? See you later. Bye-bye.